What's good? What's good? What's good? What's good? Yeah, that was full. All right, cool, good number. But what's good, everybody? It's been a minute. Instagram decided not to work 2 weeks ago, so that podcast that I was trying to set up about um relationship between men and women, and I guess differences of perceptions you may speak about, or that we may speak about, or whatnot, whatnot. Um, that podcast is going to happen. I'm going to make that happen. I don't care how long it takes. I don't care when it happens, but it's going to happen. So, and I also need a co-host for that podcast. Would like to try to find a co-host for the podcast regularly, but people's schedules don't always line up how you want them to, and you got to make sure that you're on the podcast with somebody that's going to provoke thought and really not be too messed up about speaking on it and everything. But regardless of all that, today's podcast is about fairy tales are not real. And before I get into that, because I don't really have an outline today, I ain't really had time. I've been dealing with a lot of stuff between trying to apply for grad school and workouts and this, that, and the third. So I ain't really got an outline. But before I start about that, I don't want anybody to take this podcast as me like dream killing or telling somebody they can't achieve what I guess they may be thinking about in their lives or something like that. It's not even close to that. All I'm saying is that the expectations that we put on certain things that we may see or perceive when we're young, or that we may look at a movie and then get a feeling about it and be like, I want that feeling. Things move differently outside that big screen. So that's what I'm trying to get to the people. I'm trying to get people to understand that the fairy tales and the emotions that you feel when you watch something aren't, you know, per se real. That's not how it is all the time. That's not how it is when you reach certain goals or certain levels of certain things that you're trying to attain. But what it does allow you to do is see the realness and what comes with whatever it is you're chasing. Once you say, all right, fairy tales aren't real. And I didn't even introduce the podcast correctly. So let me rewind real quick. Welcome to the Unconquered World podcast, where the premise is positivity, the source is love, and the outcome is peace. Hopefully, peace, whatever that means to you. Trying to help you achieve that today, especially by telling you that these fairy tales that you may believe or are searching for aren't real. But back to what I was saying. So, knowing that these fairy tales that you may want to believe in or whatever aren't real per se, things are achievable, but the feeling that you get isn't something that's like concrete. Knowing that allows you to look at every situation and understand what comes with it. If I want to learn how to ride a bike, then I might have to fall a couple times. And falling don't feel good, but when you learn how to ride, you riding down the hill fast and you can control the bike. It feels good, right? So the movies and the fairy tales don't tell you about how many times you got to fall to get to wherever you're trying to get to. And that's the positive thing about it, because the truth will set you free in terms of whatever it is you're going after. People not sugarcoating it, or you not sugarcoating it with yourself, and you understanding the work that you may have to put in to get wherever it is you're trying to get. So, fairy tales not being real in that regard, it's a positive thing in my opinion, and that's what we're trying to attack everything from a positive side, and really try to figure out how to move forward and be proactive in whatever you're doing. So that's the first thing about fairy tales not being real. The second thing about fairy tales not being real is love, and I'm gonna talk about it in the classic sense because that's what most fairy tales talk about. It talks about love, but it doesn't tell you about all the stuff that really is love. Love ain't just the fairy tale and Cinderella put on the glass slipper and married the prince, or um, the Notebook, which I've seen once because of my high school relationship. So that's a long movie, and that's not real. But regardless, it's not that in a sense. It's a lot of days where it's arguments, or it may be disagreements, or you don't really want to be around a certain somebody. It's like I don't like I love my sisters, but I don't like them all the time. You feel me? And since I don't like them all the time, sometimes I don't want to be bothered with them, and then sometimes I'm forced to even to still deal with them, and I'm still gonna love them. But it's not the fairy tale. The children are happy and playing together, and we get along all the time type of deal. That wasn't us growing up, especially not with Mia. If y'all know Mia, she used to man. She the reason I'm tough now. I ain't gonna lie to you. Mia used to go in. Me and her used to go at it. But understanding it from that perspective really can open your eyes and really like I said, go back to the positive point, understanding that what comes with it, how to prepare yourself to I guess have tough skin or be better in whatever situation, and really get yourself out of whatever little hole you might be in when you do start falling into the grips of this fantasy land that you may be in when you believe in such fairy tales or whatnot. So to get out of the grips of that, you have to understand everything that comes with it. And that's what I'm trying to get you to do. So understand everything that comes with it, man, with anything you're doing. And understand that it's not, if it seems too good to be true, it is. And if it's not too good to be true, then count it as a blessing. Because it's a lot of stuff that is too good to be true that you're gonna have to deal with. Some stuff I'm dealing with right now as I think back and think about, just some of the stuff I dealing with today. It's not as glamorous, but just even this going to the U, everybody called me when I was down there, want to come down. I'm coming down on spring break or whatever, but I ain't got a whole bunch of calls since I've been back in Memphis or since I finished pro day last year. And that's not to say that I have any animosity towards anybody, but I understand that that's what comes with it versus someone who might have gone or been in my situation and takes it to heart about being where I've been and people calling and thinking that was all real. And it's not. It's a fairy tale, it's a fantasy, it's something that people react off of because they have a lot of emotion about a certain thing or about a certain person. And they're not looking at it from the very real standpoint of what may actually be going on. A lot of people see it's like an outside looking in perspective when you start believing in fairy tales. And you have to dig deeper than that. So dig deeper when it comes to that. And the outcome from all of that is peace. And how you gain your peace by understanding these fairy tales are not real is by being proactive, which is the whole point of this whole podcast in the first place. So just be proactive in that now that you understand this, attack every day positive, whether it's good or bad. Because now it's like understanding how to get to the square root of something, or learning how to do long division. Let's say long division. That's the best analogy I can think of off the top of my head. Learning how to do long division. If you understand that I need to take this number and put it here and then drop this number and do all of that to get to the answer that I want, then you essentially can understand how to get past the fantasy stage that you may be in because you have a set process or you have um a set of actions lined up to get to that said thing, to said thing. And with that being said, it allows you to not really panic when stuff doesn't go how you want it to go. Because if fairy tales were real, then everything would go how you wanted to go. But since it's not, some stuff is gonna go awry. Some stuff is gonna go sideways. Sometimes you're gonna be wondering what in the world is going to happen to me now. And when you get to that point, that set of processes or understanding that everything comes with this and understanding that some stuff may come with it that I didn't know was going to come with it and I'm going to have to adapt. Understanding that is what will save you mentally. I mean, physically it's a lot of things that could happen that you can't do anything about. Like if a tornado comes and tears down your house, you have to know that that could happen as a homeowner. But it's nothing you can do about it. But mentally, if all right, this is how I got that first house, and I understand that this could have happened. So let me go about trying to get a second house. And if I didn't have insurance on that first house, I definitely want to get tornado insurance on this second house because I don't want to go through what I just went through again. So learning from experience is a big part of understanding fairy tales aren't real as well. Like I said, it's not really a big outline about what I was talking about today. I didn't have time to make it. I kind of like it when it's genuine like this, and I appreciate everybody that tunes in, likes, and supports this. Especially since I'm not always doing it, I do it when I can. Try to do it twice a month. But like I said, last week Instagram was messing up, so had to wait a whole month until your next podcast. But 2 weeks from now, I should be back on, and hopefully a lot less stressed, and a lot more, I guess, prepared. Hopefully, I can get a co-host or get somebody in here to talk with me, so it's not just me talking to y'all. You can see some dialogue, and somebody probably provoked thought in me, and I provoked thought in them, and the conversation goes probably left and not where it's supposed to go, and somewhere that's off in the distance, but still gets to the root of whatever the premise was, which all the time is positivity on this podcast. So I appreciate you guys for tuning in. I'm out. And y'all don't be judging me when I be saying I'm out and then it take a long time because I got to turn 4 different monitors off. But I'm out.